Some of them I try to figure out why U.S. immigrations and customs enforcement do them too manner like this. I mean, them face image just sprawl out on the media. ICE New York City removes two illegally present felons convicted of kidnapping and homicide sent to Jamaica. Said, God, no. Listen up. We're going to get into the details of why these two men were sent back to Jamaica. I cannot give you the reason why they plastered their image this way. That is how I got the images, because they were made public. All right. Listen, just let me give my message again before I go any further. I'm gonna say it like this: when you go to other people country, behave yourself. Even if you're straight, even if you have all the right papers, even if you have the big one, which is called the citizenship and the blue book, you're still not good. Couple of things you want to do. One of them is you want to make sure that if anything happens to you there, you're good when them send you go back to your yard, because you know how it is in Jamaica. Jamaica have a stigma against people who have been deported, and it can get pretty rough for you when you reach back to your yard. I don't look at it like anything else other than you coming home to your yard. So you have to get in where you're 15 now and make life work again. It's not the end of life to be deported. However, when you think of a situation where, you're there foreign and a boy violate you or a girl violate you in a way where it is life-threatening and you are forced to defend yourself, the courts in the United States of America might not see it that way. So imagine if them collar you up now and them carry you go do 30 years in our American prison. You go into American prison at 30 years old, right? 20. Say you're 20 and you go in. You do 30 years, you come out at 50. Can you imagine going back to Jamaica? Granny dead and gone, grandpa dead and gone. Your cousin them don't even know you. Your brother and your sister them live a foreign. You don't have nobody who you're close to who can help you a little bit. The community where you know where you go back to with the little old house where left there where you grew up in. That not there no more cause squatters take it over. And if you go down there, them chop you up kind of for your piece of place that again. Yeah? Them kind of something there. So here what? You want always make sure so you're good at your yard. Always. Find a little one person, two person and stay in touch with, And when things good for you, send a little something, go give them every now and then. Show them say you care. Because you never know. The elders said don't fling stone behind you, my friend. And I know no joke something. Don't fling stone behind you because you never know who might take you. Now, this story right here. New York, U.S. Customs Immigration, ICE Department says U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement removed two illegally present Jamaican nationals convicted of felony offenses on February 27th of 2025. Today is April 2nd. I don't know why them release this now, but they must have did want to make sure so the man them reach at them yard safe first before them put out the article and have settled in. I hope to these two men that they are back in Jamaica. That is Nasimento Blair and Neville Heslop. I hope they're back in Jamaica and they're getting settled in and they have family around that can, help them get back into the swing of things. And they can pick up and carry on from there. Another thing I'm going to say before I get into their details. I've seen people who said that deportation was a blessing in disguise for them because them did their foreigner go on with their friggery and foolishness. And they really didn't realize it until they got deported. And it's only when they got deported they were able to fix their lives. And now they are in Jamaica living prosperous lives. Start business will get successful, buy nice house in a secluded community, build family, picnic on a private school, drive nice vehicles, park up in a driveway in a nice gated house, all these kind of things. And they have come out to say, I don't think I would have accomplished all this had I stayed in the United States of America. Me probably would have either dead, or me probably would have do some long time in a US prison or something like that. I say that to say this. Just look at the deportation sometime as probably a God that protect you, you know. And sometimes it's probably just a blessing in disguise. But again, it's not the end of the road. All right. Now, let's start out with the first one of the two in the picture. The younger one. The man name is Nasimento Blair. I don't know who would have named them pick the Nasimento. What was your parents thinking? Nasimento. Nah, sir. Anyhow, Nasimento Blair is 44 years old, and he entered the United States according to ICE as a non-immigrant. March 4th of 2004, for him first time that him step in a foreign, yeah. And he violated the terms of his admission. The Mount Vernon Police Department arrested him for first-degree kidnapping in October 12th of 2005. Remember, you know, on March 4th, 2004, him come in the US, reach foot on ground. And by October 12th, 2005, him a get arrested for first-degree kidnapping, a crime for which he was convicted and sentenced to 15 years in prison in the US. You see how fast they turn tonight, though. So that's why I'm saying, you know, make sure you're good at yard. The man just reached, you know, March 4th, 2005. And by March 4th, 2004. And by October 2005, him doing 15 years in a US prison. Just so. So an immigration judge ordered Nasimento Blair to be removed from the US on April 4th of 2008. Remember, you know, they are prison from 2005 now. So 2006 roll off, 2007 roll off, 2008, an immigration judge said him need to get out of the country. But he filed an appeal with the Board of Immigration Appeals. I can tell you, so these things don't normally work. Not if you're on a serious charge like kidnapping, right? And probably did I try seek asylum here or something like that. But the Board of Immigration dismissed that appeal. The same August him file it get dismissed by November 6, 2008, which means your attempt to stay in the United States of America had failed. The New York State Department of Corrections released Blair on parole April 9th of 2020. Remember again, at 2005, this man you got prison, you know. At 2020, him come out, you know. Released on parole. Now, you have to remember also that State Department of Corrections is different from U.S. Immigration and Customs. It's different from ICE. So, him run off him time in there, in a prison, for him kidnapping charge, and him get released on parole April 9th, 2020. But remember, the judge had already put a removal order on him August 4th of 2008, even though him never come out of prison till 2020. And even though him file an appeal November 6th, that appeal of 2008 was rejected. So there he was, out on appeal April 9th, out on parole from doing his time for the kidnapping April 9th of 2020, and ICE arrested him July 16th of 2024. This is, if you think about who is president in the United States of America, July 16th of 2024, you will realize that that was none other than Joe Biden. So it was under Joe Biden's rules that he was going to get deported anyway. But he was sitting there in ICE trying to fight for another charge, for another chance, I should say, and it never got so good. So there he was, deported to Jamaica shortly after. Now, the next person on the list was Neville Heslop. Neville, when you hear a name like Neville, you see, you know, so this come from way back in the 40s, 50s, them time there, 60s. Neville, nobody now name them pick the Neville again. So Neville is the older gentleman in the scene right here, the one with the long beard and the long dreadlocks. I don't know if Neville was a Rasta before Neville get locked up, but I know, say, Neville come out looking like he is a high priest from Bobo Hill. So Neville Larry, no Larry, no. You have to say it like French, Larry. Neville Larry Heslop. 67 years old. Neville now him entered the US, according to ICE, as a lawful permanent resident on or about August 18th back in the 80s, 1984. Them time there, 1984. Neville have him green card. And him there foreign, doing quite okay. Something happened along the way where he was convicted of murder in New Jersey, November 1st of 1991. In 1984, him enter US, you know, and he was here perfectly legal. And by 1991, him there prison, and them slap Neville with 30 years behind bars. Me granny post joke, 30 years, you know. Me say, prison don't make for dog. Me not do nothing for try to reach that so. But 30, I know 30 we call it a 30. Them give Neville 30 years back in the 90s. So Neville missed the whole 90s then. So 90s dancehall and them something that Neville never know about because Neville gone to prison 1991. When 1990s just start. Right? Anyhow, he was convicted of a homicide in New Jersey, November 1st of 1991, and he was sentenced to 30 years in prison. An immigration judge ordered him removed from the United States of America June 14th, 1996. This is 6 years after he was already in prison doing a 30-year sentence. 6 years in, immigration judge said, when you come out, whenever they let you out, you are not allowed to stay in the US. You must go back to Jamaica. Well, he filed an appeal also like the last person we spoke about. He filed an appeal with the BIA, which was dismissed on April 23rd, 1997. Them licked down the appeal quickly. June 14, 1996, appeal file. April 23rd, 1997, decision made. Appeal failed. You must go back to Jamaica regardless. The ICE office in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, arrested him on April 23rd, 2021, upon his release from local custody. Now, remember, you know, the man gone to prison from 1984. At 2021, him get released from prison. And again, remember, state lockup is different from immigration, customs, business, right? So, 1984 lockup, 2021 release upon his release from custody. However, Jamaica would not grant a travel document for him while he filed a motion to reopen his appeal. So they were having some problems with Jamaica granting travel papers for him. I don't know why. I don't know if somebody in Jamaica said maybe he's too old to come back to Jamaica. He's coming back to be a burden to the society. I don't know if somebody was saying maybe, me don't know, we don't remember him. We can't find him papers. We don't think him come from here. Something like that happened along the way where they had difficulties getting travel documents from Jamaica for him. In the meantime, what he did was he went and filed an appeal. So this is the United States of America. There are legal courses that will take place. Seems like everybody has rights. Whether them make a decision against you today or tomorrow, you still go through a process. That process can stall your case and buy you some extra time before they put you on the iron bird and send you back to the beautiful island of Jamaica, which is what happened in his case. So ICE released him on an order of supervision at the time because his home country can't find any paperwork for him. They're trying to figure out, how to get him back to where he comes from. There's a dispute going on behind the scenes. So ICE said, you know what? Instead of taking up space, leaving him incarcerated here after he did so much time from 1984 to 2021, just go ahead and release him, but release him on supervision. Supervision is where he will check in to immigration the 1st and the 15th of every month. I don't know if those were his check-in days. I'm just saying. He was released with days to check in. On a regular basis, he would check in, right? So while he was released, ICE New York City then arrested him at one of his check-ins on February 4th of 2025. Again, that was, I don't know, was that under Biden or Trump? Trump never take office yet until, so that would have been under, either way. Yeah, is that Trump catch that? So either way, ICE New York City arrested him in 2025. The heat was on. His charge was murder. They don't care if you served your time, paid your dues to society. You were locked up from 84 to 2021. You still have to go back to your country. So they honored the first removal order that was made by the judge in 1997, and they removed him back to Jamaica. Both of them, according to the immigration website, it says both aliens. Boy, it's a frig up thing when they call you an alien, and come from no other planet. Both aliens remained in ICE custody until their removal from the United States of America, and both of them have been removed back to their homeland of Jamaica. All right. I'm going to end this video again by saying the same thing I said before and the same thing I say all the time. Listen up. When you go to other people's place, just play by them rules, please. Behave yourself, please. Especially places like the United States of America, there's so much to be done here. You can really carve out a good life here, or carve out a way to make good money here while building a better life in Jamaica. Just take good use of the opportunities, man, and leave the frigga and the foolishness a yard if you're in a frigga and foolishness. The thing is, sometimes things happen that is beyond your control, like I said in the beginning. You never know who's going to try you, and you have to go defend yourself. But you see, from somebody never put them hand on me or never lick me with an object, me just sidestep trouble and go about my business, Because sometimes that little something there in your head that's called ego. Yeah, the ego will tell you, say, frig up a boy. The ego will tell you, say, back off a ratchet and mark up him face. The ego will tell you, say, hey, tab up a girl. The ego will tell you, say, yo, pick him up and drop him on him head top, broke his neck. The ego will tell you all kind of things, burn down your house, full it up a gunshot. But at the end of the day, you must remember, so the ego will always lead you into problems and then leave you there in sorrow, right? And you're in a people land, and them are going to do things with you here that some of it is unspeakable. Doing 30 years in a U.S. prison is no joke. everybody seems to go to prison and come out and say, yeah, there's a lot of nastiness and a lot of sadness going on in there, but none of it never catch me. Me not believe them story there. It catch you too. But we're going to leave it right there, so. You see? So, the last part of my message is this. Make sure, say, you're good at your yard, regardless of how good you think you are in a foreign, because you never know what fate might be tookest thee, and thou hast to be returned to thy own land. Leave your comments in the comment section below. I'll catch you on the next video with SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.